Oh, I messed that up. It's supposed to come in. We're all supposed to be there. Oh, I didn't click on us to put us back in there. So people, we'll just make people laugh about it.
There you go.
Hey, Victoria. So we got the Miracles of Tragedy logo up here. We got your stuff in the background, but this isn't, normally right now I'd say, welcome to the Miracles of Tragedy, blah, 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 blah. My guest is Victoria, the wonderful Victoria, blah, 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 blah. But this is something very different today, isn't it?
It is.
So tell us, Victoria, why is this different than my podcast, The Miracles of Tragedy?
Well, March is reading awareness. And not only is it reading awareness, and we're trying to, get more people to actually pick up a book. I don't know about you. I love the feel of a book in my hand. I'm not into the Kindle thing. I was given a Kindle and I sent it back because I want to feel those pages. I want to feel the book. And it's not just that, it's not getting lost in a book. It's also learning about things that need to be talked about, bringing reference, bringing resources. And you have done that. You are such an amazing person. I'm so honored to know you and call you a friend. And being that we are doing reading awareness, the very first person I actually thought about having come on and promote the book would be you. So give us a synopsis of the book and the background about it a little bit.
Hey, the book is not mine. It's one that my daughter published, and there's, the information scrolling down there at the bottom. Love Lingers Still. It's an anthology. There's a few different authors in this book, and my daughter calls it Love Lingers Still, a haunted anthology of lost loved ones. So, those times when you've lost somebody very close, whether it be a parent, child, grandchild, in my case, both child and grandchild, and
again, I'm so
spouse. Thank you so much. Spouse, just somebody really close, and you might be walking down the street and smell a cologne or a perfume that person used to wear, and on someone else, it's like, oh yeah. It's like you feel their presence right there.
Yes. Like a warm, gentle hug.
Yeah. And that's love lingers still. That love lingers on here after the passing of a loved one. It still does. I feel my granddaughter a lot, and I feel my daughter Amy a lot. My daughter's a little bit different. I loved her. She just had this attitude, though, that was when she was in the hospital after one of her many surgeries before she passed from cancer. I had this loud yawn, and I had flown down to Houston to be with her, and I had this loud yawn. I was in the hospital, and and she's, Dad, stop that. Stop what? Making that noise. Oh. Honey, I yawned. Well, stop. If I have to yawn, I yawn. I just can't stop it. Says, well, do it more quietly. I says, well, that's how I yawn, honey. She says, well, if you can't stop, then leave. So I get up and I put my jacket on. She says, where are you going? I says, I'm leaving. Do you ever want me to come back, or do you need me to stay gone? She says, well, yeah. She was just this brass individual.
Know where she got it from.
I don't know. And what her phone calls I'd miss before Christmas. It'd be, Dad, I saw this purse at this store that I really, really like. It cost about $100. So just so you know. I says, oh, well, that's nice. Well, Christmas is coming. I'm like, yeah, I know Christmas is coming. That's the kind of stuff.
Any other hints?
Yeah, or if she needed something for her house or whatever, it'd be the same thing. Yeah, my refrigerator broke. Found one that only cost, this many hundreds of dollars, and they'll put it on a Visa card. I'm like, that's good. I hope you get Visa. Silence on the line.
But you ended up getting it for her, didn't you?
No, actually didn't.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
surprising.
yeah. And so
That surprises me with you.
she was from my youthful days, a product of my young adulthood indiscretions. I didn't know her till she was 15 years old, and she was, after that, she was in and out, in and out, in and out. I remember one time she called me that she wanted some money, and I says I don't have that kind of money to give you. Says, well, I'm gonna sue you for back child support. I says, well, Amy, I've
Right.
already paid the state of Iowa tens of thousands of dollars of the money that your mother was getting while on state aid as a single parent for you. Then she just hung up.
Aw.
So, you know, it's a different memories, but still those are memories. Those are memories.
Yes. Yes.
My granddaughter, she was just the sweetest, accepting, loving individual.
How old was she?
She was 15 when she ended her own life. We took her to Hawaii when she was 12 years old. And this little girl never asked for anything. Well, she did ask for one thing, and that's, if we could take her to a store where she could buy a, a new swimsuit. And that's all. She showed us some money. She's going to pay for it. And we went to Macy's, and she was looking at some different stuff. And I said, well, how about this one? Oh, Grandpa, that costs a lot. I said, yeah, okay. Do you like it? Oh, yeah. She tried it on. She wanted it. She wanted it. She wanted it. So we're walking up to the checkout, and she's pulling out her money, and I laid my credit card down.
Aw.
Yeah. Now, this is not the daughter that I lost. It's
Okay.
from another daughter. And we're walking through the airport when we're going home from the vacation, and she had a smaller carry-on bag, and I tried to put it on top of my roller bag and carry it for her. She said, oh, Grandpa, it's okay. I can do it. I says, well, you don't need to, honey. I can carry it. She says, oh, Grandpa, I got this. It's okay. I says, okay, okay. Then when we took her to swimming with the dolphins, it was, but Grandpa, that costs so much money. And she tried to talk me out of it. I says, if it didn't cost anything, would you do it? Yeah. Okay. We're doing it.
What a sweet soul.
I know. But, like I say, she wouldn't even let me carry her bag. Even if I wasn't really carrying it, just had it sitting on my
Rolling it.
roller bag behind me.
Right. Right.
And I just thought, what a wonderful, loving person. But when I got back to work as airline pilot, I live in Vegas. I would commute every time I went to work down to Houston, Texas, and I'm walking through the Houston, Texas airport, and saw a family with a girl about the same age as my granddaughter. Throws her coat at her father, says, "Here, you carry it. I'm not going to." I says, "Oh, I am so thankful for my granddaughter and how wonderful she is." Oh, and that's why we were so thrown when she ended her life, and my daughter put this
Was
book
she
together.
bullied at school? Was there a reason?
It at the funeral, it looked like she had so many people that came out. She was she was on the track team. She was a part. She made state history in the state of Nebraska of being one of the first female wrestlers in a female league.
Wow.
Yeah, see, schools put it just for women,
Right.
just for girls alone.
Good for
And
her.
she was a part of that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you guys ever figure out what led her up to that?
No.
No idea. She wasn't
None.
depressed.
Well, my daughter said that, she was on antidepressants and she found afterwards that the pills she just, hadn't been taking them. And, I'm guessing that had to have some impact.
Right. Right.
But every time I saw her, it's always just this smiling face. And like I told you one time that a friend of mine, Don Gay, 8-time world champion bull rider,
Mhm.
I changed my banner picture on my Facebook to a picture of her while she's with the dolphins.
Mhm.
The dolphin's head's up here and she's got her arms around its neck and she has this big smile on like this. And Donnie had never, ever, ever met any of my family like that. And he made this comment, says, I'd know that smile anywhere.
That's Grandpa's smile.
No, on her face. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was, and so I was just like, wow. I had to text him. I said, you don't know how much that meant, coming from you, Don.
Right.
I wasn't one who hung out with him all the time, but rodeo people, it's just different. Rodeo people are family. When I lost my daughter, when I lost my granddaughter, I got more comments and love coming to me from rodeo people than anybody, except for locally here from my church. But they're family. Yeah, some a little bit, but
Yeah.
nothing like the rodeo people. And I told you yesterday, so just so everybody knows that Victoria asked me to do a video myself to talk about my daughter's book and things like that. And I told her I can't do it. I've only read bits and pieces of it, and I've been afraid to pick it up. Well, let me read the. Let me see if I can even read this.
Take your time.
Dedication. Every haunting, even those that are unromanticized, has one horrifying underlying truth. Someone we once loved is no longer with us. It could be a parent, a spouse, a friend, or even a child who haunts our most heartfelt memories. This anthology is born of just such a pain. My teenage daughter, Angel, lost her father's favorite grandmother, and her own favorite great-grandmother. She was pained with each new loss, but the last struck her the deepest. We believe that on one level, it was that last that led her to take her own life at the tender age of 15. This anthology is dedicated to the lost loved ones of the contributing authors, to my little honeybee, and to all who have lost, and to all we have lost over the years. May the stories contained in these pages help those who are grieving a loss of their own. Remember that your loved ones walk with you even now. They watch over you and give you little signs to show that their love lingers still. That their love lingers still. Let me read that sentence again. I love it. They watch over you and give you little signs to show you that their love lingers still. This book is dedicated to all the lost loved ones over the years. May their souls rest in peace as they watch over us from above. from on high.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm surprised I got through that.
I'm proud of you. You did a great job.
So, but that's what the book is about, and my daughter did it for, to, and she said one of the authors in here is a best-selling author as well. So all these authors have, somebody close to them that they've lost, and that's what it gets into.
And they can find the book at Amazon?
On Amazon.
Mhm.
Mhm. Comments are always wonderful.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to get you to give me some videos so that we can have them out there for resources for our teens. Colin just finished doing a Teen Talk episode with our Teen Talk hosts. They loved him. It went crazy. I don't know if you've seen the numbers. The numbers are crazy.
I haven't. I'm not
Well,
seeing any traffic to my podcast from it.
what? Well,
Yeah.
I'll go back and look, but it is the numbers are crazy. And
Cool.
remember, I told you that in the beginning, our numbers are not signs of our success. It is signs of our guests like you. And we were so blessed because we got notification yesterday that, there's 3,067,000 podcast in the world. And A Contagious Smile is in the top 2% of over 3 million.
That's wonderful.
And I
wonderful.
I tell everybody it's not us, the hosts, it's you guys, the guests, that make us that way. And that's why I'm so honored. And like the teens just love you. They're like, he's hilarious and he was fun and he was funny and he told great stories and
I gotta go find those comments. I'd love that. I would.
Yeah. Logan thought a lot of you too, especially because he just got that bad news.
It just.
It's okay.
Thinking that I'm touching the lives of these young people
and making a difference.
It's why I've started my podcast, The Miracles of Tragedy. It's why that I'm putting together these presentations to go out into schools. One of the first things I did after I got off the phone with my granddaughter's stepfather is I came into my sound booth at, voice actor, so I have my own sound booth here. And I came in here and I was just like this, telling people of the pain that they're going to see that they'll leave behind if they do this horrible thing. These tears now are tears of love for these kids. I'm just so overwhelmed that I'm touching lives
You're
like
helping
this.
so many.
And that's I'm glad I got this handy.
I believe your granddaughter's right in here with you, helping you. I really do. I completely think that.
There's a little bit of a story as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. I rode bulls for 18 years, and a big part of that as a member of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. I'm now actually I just so honored that recently I got to be I got to we call it in the PRCA call it gold card. A gold card is, it's made out of, I don't have a wallet in here. It's made out of, it's metal, it's gold and gold plated, and it's, engraved, and it says, well, I got a buckle along with it too.
Right.
Taking my belt off. No, it's not rated R or anything. I'll undo take the buckle off the.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what this buckle is patterned exactly after the card itself.
That's beautiful.
This certifies that Colin W. Hughes is a life member of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association Incorporated, and it's got my name. It's got my PRCA card number down there, and the
That is
emblems,
so cool.
the logos of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. So, yeah, now this also allows me. I joked with my wife. Says, you know what? I got my card back now, my membership. I can start entering rodeos.
And she goes, "No."
She rolls her eyes at me. Anyway, where
Oh.
was I going? Oh yeah, because I was talking about riding bulls all those years. But when I stopped riding bulls, I started to announce rodeos, and I just loved the microphone. The microphone loves me, I hope.
Yes, it does.
And people have a fear of public speaking. Me, I get behind the microphone, and there could be thousands of people in the stands, and I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna have some fun. Yeah, when I fire up that microphone, I'm gonna put the pad on here because I'm gonna get loud here. Maybe not that. Anyway, I had fun. Let's just put it that way. And it, like I'm spiking things here, but I've always wondered, why did I have this talent? Why did I have this gift? Because there's been a few times in my life that I came so close to death, within seconds of close to death. One time I was a child, I was swimming and got caught in this little whirlpool. And I was going round and round and round under the water. And I thought,
This is
I'm
it.
just, I said, how do I get out? I can't stop. I can't stop. What's going to happen to me? I'm just a kid. And when I thought I was going to take my last breath, somebody reaches in and grabs my arm and pulls me out. I can't even remember what he looked like or what he said to me. And I ran to my parents at our picnic area with other, aunts, uncles. All these people were there, and I told my mother, what happened, and she's, oh, there's nothing like that in Lake Manawa. You're just exaggerating things. I'm like, so I had to prove her she was wrong, and I went over to the picnic area where this man came from, and I described him, and nobody knew who he was.
Huh.
And another time when I was probably 19, 20, I don't know, something like that, 18, 19, 20, when I was first cracking out professional rodeo. There's a rodeo company in the Midwest that puts on a lot of rodeos across the country. They provide the bucking horses, the bulls, the calves, steers, everything for rodeo. And they've been around the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association for many, 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 many years now. And I was going from one of their rodeos to another one somewhere from Iowa up into Minnesota. And I was riding in one of their trucks, hauling the livestock. We stopped to go across the road to a store to get some stuff to eat. And so here's the truck, this cab over big truck, and I'm standing right here, road's right here, and I'm just getting ready to step out. And somebody else, my nickname, says, Goose, look out. And I turn like that, and a car just rushes by me. I mean, I could feel the wind coming off this
Oh
car.
my gosh.
And so another time, saved from death. And there's been a few others that I don't want to get into all of them, but those are the ones that are just, really, really so memorable.
You have a purpose here.
And especially after that, I kept wondering, why have I been saved? Why? It can't be for just announcing rodeos or doing stand-up comedy. There's got to be something else.
You're helping so many people.
When I got the phone call about my granddaughter, within the first few seconds and all my pain and what you saw earlier, that crying there, that was nothing compared to what I was going through when I got that news.
I'm sure.
But I mean, it wasn't 10 seconds into the call even. It just came into my mind, says, "This is what you need to do. Be an advocate for suicide awareness, for mental health." Like, okay, I
And
know.
she's proud of you. She is so proud of you.
Yeah, but you telling me about those children?
It makes such a huge difference. You are preventing people from going to that next stage because you listen and you help them, and it's so important. That's why I'm so honored to be your friend and so honored to help you any way I can.
Hey.
Don't let me ruin your makeup.
Oh, yes, yes. Don't ruin my makeup. My mascara's running. That's just amazing. It's you know, I hate that I found this path that I'm on now because of how it came about. I waited all these years of my adult life for the message that I was going to use my skills for. And now I wish that I wouldn't have wished for it. You know the saying, careful what you wish for.
Right.
But now that it's here, knowing that I'm helping people.
You're saving lives. You know, it's like, and it's not just you, it's your granddaughter too. It's like when you were telling the story about offering to carry her bag and she says, I can do it. And y'all did it together. That's what you're doing now, Colin. You're doing this together and you're saving people together. And she knew if anybody could help other people, it would be you. And that's what you're doing. And then I know she's so proud of you.
You know,
I wish I could hug you.
in life, I was never, ever, ever angry at her. But in death, I have gotten angry with her. Oh, it's a little bit of how the title of my podcast came about. The Miracles of Tragedy is when my oldest daughter died of cancer. Um, I got closer to her those last few years of her life, as well as her daughter, who's my oldest grandchild, who now is this fun, wonderful college girl who graduates next year from college. So she's a junior right now in college, and I'm just so excited for her and the life that she has ahead. And she texts me or she'll call me out of the blue, and it just makes old grandpa feel pretty good. So that was the miracle there. When I'm going to tell the story the long way again. I think I've told you this one before, but this story is just so amazing to me. My daughter, who's the mother of this grandchild. Well, we see her name down there on the book. Miranda. She is a set of four sisters from my first marriage, and I was not a very good husband. I followed my father's footsteps of womanizing and drinking and all that, which led to our divorce, and that was entirely all my fault. And she remarried to a man who was retired military, asked if he could adopt them so that they could have the insurance benefits, which, that's a huge thing. All
Right.
their medical expenses covered until whatever age they are, as adults.
Mhm.
That's just an amazing thing for 'em. I thought, I can't even afford to pay that much child support, so yeah, okay. But as soon as I signed that document, that's when I looked back and says, "Oh, I just gave up all rights to these children." And so they grew up without me in their life and felt abandoned by me and, understandably so. Um, in 2004, Miranda looks me up and came back into my life. And that went on for a few months. Then she felt pressure, and then she, bowed out, and that happened a couple different times. And I can't even remember what year it was. She was pregnant with my grandson when the relationship went off again. And then 2017, I'm saying my morning prayers one day, and it's just like you're hearing my voice now. It says, "Pray for your children." My children? They don't want anything to do with me. I don't have children. Why should I pray for my children? Pray for your children. No, I mean, I'm having a fight with God in my head here. And finally, okay, I can't remember what it says. Okay, I'll do it. I'll pray for my children.
Mhm.
I go to work the next day. I catch a jump seat down to Houston, Texas, have a flight that I work that night, go to Detroit, Michigan overnight, fly back to Houston with the flight in the morning. I'm getting off the airplane. My phone rings, an unidentifiable number, and it's my daughter. Her ex-husband, they'd just been divorced a few months, was living in Florida with my grandson that I've never met, and she was living up in the Northeast with my granddaughter I haven't seen since she was like about 2.5 or so. And the father of the children had been killed in an automobile accident. My grandson was in the car with him, and
Was he okay?
he was in a coma. His front was ripped wide open with his internal organs exposed, several bones broken. And my daughter told me that her sisters and her mother were not able to come down there. And she was sitting in this hospital room and staying in Ronald McDonald House at night when she slept for about 3 hours
Mhm.
to go be there with her son. Just, so someone would be there when he woke up, if he woke up. It wasn't, we didn't even know if he would wake up.
Right.
And she wanted some support. And I told my wife just the night before that I said the prayer thing happened. My wife asked me, says, "Now, if she ever calls you again, what are you going to do?" I says, "Well, honey, I don't think I can go through that
Again, yeah.
attachment and loss again." I says, "Yeah, you're right." And and when she asked me to come, I didn't even, not even a second thought. Says, "I'm on the next flight." And I didn't even try for the jump seat. As an airline employee, you can get on standby. If there's seats in the back for pilots, anyway, if there's seats in the back, I can have a seat in the back. If there's no seats in the back, I can sit up front in the jump seat with the pilots of the flight. And going from Houston to any of the bigger places in Florida, jump seats. I've had guys tell me, says, that live there, says trying to jump seat out of Florida or going back home into Florida, it's
Can't do it.
really hard.
Right.
So I
Right.
bought a ticket. I bought a ticket. I might even had to sit in a center seat. I don't know. I can't remember how. I bought a ticket so I could be there. And the first time I saw my grandson, he was laying in that hospital bed in a coma. And he was in that coma when on his 8th birthday. And so he woke up. I can't remember how much longer after he did wake up, and he's doing fantastic now. He's quite the guy. But here we go again, another tragedy, another miracle.
Yes.
As I've gotten so close to my grandson and so close to my granddaughter that I lost. Not once did this child ever ask me of this big gap in our relationship that she ever asked me, Grandpa, where have you been? Grandpa, why haven't you been here? Or anything. And every time I was, for days while I was down there in Florida, every time I'd take her out to eat or do something with her, I'd just be like, when's she going to ask? Not
What am I
once.
gonna say, right?
Not once did she ask. All she did was love.
I see where she got that from too.
Thank you. And so, tragedy number two, miracle number two. When Evangelina ended her life, a small town, and the funeral home had asked people to send in uh, digital photos of my granddaughter, and they were swarmed with hundreds of them. I mean, literally hundreds. And the funeral home, who doesn't know the family, the funeral home handpicked a selection of pictures from all
Oh.
these hundreds to make a video.
Mhm.
About 3/4 of those videos was my granddaughter in my home with my wife and I, was in Hawaii at
Oh.
Universal Studios. I mean, I mean, uh, my wife called it the Meet Grandpa video or something like that. Because all of a sudden now, all these other grandchildren suddenly know who I am.
Mhm.
My youngest daughter has 2 daughters and a son. The son being the oldest, but the older daughter, after the funeral services, I'm standing next. I'm standing next to my daughter who's lying there in that, and of course, being worse than I am right here. And the oldest of those 2 girls came up to me and says, "Do you need a hug?" Yeah, I do. And later that day, my oldest daughter reached out to me and said that one of her children wants to meet me. The graveside services were the next day in this small country cemetery out in the country. I grew up on a farm, and she was interred just about a half mile down the road from where I grew up. And I actually remember walking around that when I go for rides on a bike and stuff, I'd walk through there and look at grave markers when I was a kid. For some reason, it's like 18 something 1800s, and but my mother had bought plots there for her and my father, and some additional plots, and that's so. Um, my daughter chose to use that for my granddaughter,
Aw.
but the next day at the cemetery, I'm just losing it. At one point, my knees were buckling. I was standing behind my wife in a chair, and my knees were buckling. I almost collapsed, and my my wife says something. Says, "Honey, do you realize that this is Father's Day, and all 4 of your daughters are here?" And when my oldest daughter brought her 16-year-old daughter up to me she looked like she's 12. She's this little petite, bubbly, fun. she just she's just something else. This child looks up at me and says, "Are you a good man now?" And I just
Oh. Oh.
and it felt so calming to be able to look in this young lady's eyes and say, "Yes, I am." She says, "Good." She hugged me. My grandson from my youngest daughter came up and says, "Can I hug you?" I said, "Yeah."
Oh, I really like that, thanks.
And
Mm.
I completely forgot to say something to him that I had held him when he was just a few
Itty
weeks
bitty.
old, and I when I was hugging him, I should have said, "I held you as a baby," and I'm so hoping that I get that chance to be now that he knows me, that hoping that maybe he and his sisters will come into my life. But the granddaughter that I met, we text all she just she she even texted me when her boyfriend broke up with her a few days ago. Boyfriend that she just, this was it. I don't know
That's
how
the
long they've
one.
been yeah, I don't know how long they've been seeing each other, but it's been a while. And she's talking about, oh, when they get married and babies and blah blah blah.
I'm dreading that.
So tragedy number 3 and miracles again. And then the miracles of these young people. I'm just now putting together um slide presentation or PowerPoint presentation to use for public speaking engagements. As a retired pilot who has had depression in and out of my life, I've had the opportunity to be on when the FAA announced. I had a blog, ProzacPilot.com, which I haven't used it for a lot. I'm trying to put it into a new site that I have, FAAPilotsMentalHealth.org, that I'm going to hopefully, start posting stuff like this on there, the videos on there, and do some blogging. But one of the places I'm going to target that sounds weird. Yeah, that's from my sites. Is there's high schools
Right.
and universities have aviation programs, and pilots are just terrified of seeing a therapist if they need to for any reason
Huh.
because it's reportable to the FAA.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
And they're afraid, that. So I'm going to go out to these schools and just tell them, it's get the help you need.
Yeah.
It's either that or it's your life. Your life could literally be endangered if you don't.
Right.
It's because with pilots, it's like, yeah, I'm a pilot. I says, well, no, that's just something you do.
Right.
Who you are is you are a son. You're maybe a father. You may be a brother. You are a grandchild. You are a child of God.
Mhm.
Being a pilot is something that you do. I've been in these areas of my life, bull riders, like, I'm a bull rider.
Mm.
And when there's some good looking girls nearby,
Oh,
oh my goodness.
brother, here we go.
It's like, you know, and especially if, we're getting ready. We're at an arena where we're getting ready, when the grandstands are not far away, we're back there getting our ropes ready, and the girls like, oh, look at that, the bull riders. They, they,
Why
they,
don't you write
they,
a book? Why don't you write a book? Seriously, you should be
well,
writing a book.
I don't know. With me, with what I've been through, the biggest regret that I have in my life over rodeo is that I did not go as hard as I would have liked to have. I just go to a handful each year instead of because I had this horrible negative attitude. There were times that, I rode bulls that world's champions had bucked off of.
How long
But
could you
then,
stay on one?
well, it's a timed event. You ride for 8 seconds. If
That's it?
you, yeah, if you come off the bull or touch them with you have one hand in the rope, uh, to lift on, and the other hand, to balance you and to make the moves you need to. And if that free hand touches the animal before the 8 seconds, no score. If your hand comes out of the rope before the 8 seconds, no score. And I mean, you could be in the air. There's a picture. Oh, I wish I could bring it up of but you can be way up above the bull or on the side of them in the air, not touch them at all. If that tail of that rope is still in your hand, because there's a handhold bred into it, and then you pull it down tight, you bring the tail around and wrap it around your hand. And if your hand comes out, but you still have the tail of that rope and you haven't hit the dirt yet, but you're way off on the side, it's a score. There's 50 points for the animal on how well or how hard the bull bucks, and 50 points for the cowboy on how well he rode the bull. So possible 100 points total.
You need to be writing a book about just you and this beautiful granddaughter, and like have the cover where you have a pilot and you have a gorgeous granddaughter and you're rolling down together, and you have your suitcase on your left and she has her backpack or her bag on her right, and y'all are holding hands going down the tarmac of life, and what you helped each other do and what you're helping each other do. And the cover would be gorgeous, and you would be helping so many people, and it could go to teenagers and bring awareness. I mean, when you talked to Logan that day, Logan had just gotten some horrific news. He was devastated. Right before you came on, he kept saying, "Victoria, don't you cry when I tell you." And he played it down. And I'm hearing these things, and like one of the things that we're doing right now with GoFundMe for this is trying to get the money up to get him a service dog because he really, really wants one. His mom's like, "No." Well, he's gonna get one. So yeah. So anyway, and like I adopted his whole family for Christmas and bought them Christmas and stuff. And he messages me all the time. And he's even said, "I wish you would adopt me. I would adopt you right now. Like, let's go." But he just got this horrible news. He's like 40 pounds underweight. He his heart has split into 3 places within his body. And when he tells me this, and I'm like, "So you're looking at maybe like a heart transplant." I'm like, "But it better not change who you are, because I adore you and you can't change who you are." And he was like, "I won't make it through the surgery." And he's like, "You need to know that." And I was like, "You know what? I wasn't supposed to make it either. So stop being so
Yeah,
selfish. Like, I don't
there
want to
you
hear
go.
it."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'm not, with my condition, I'm not supposed to make it to, adulthood." And I mean, he's so little, and he's like, "I wear 3 layers of clothes and stuff." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you are the sweetest thing." And he goes, "I don't know if I can do this podcast." And I was like, "You know what? Suck it up, buddy." And I said, "You're gonna meet my friend." And when we got done, and you had gone off and we cleared the air, we cut off air, he was like, "That man just made me laugh and smile and forget everything that I did or what was suffering through or thinking about." And he was like, "He is a gift." And I was like, "I tried to tell you that, but you're like, I don't think I'm doing the podcast." And I said, "No, don't listen to me. I'm just like, whatever. And, forget who I am. And it's all about you." Like the drawing he made me, he showed you, he drew this woman, and then he goes, "Something's not right with it." And then he took the arm off and made me a prosthetic arm in it. And, he is just so giving and caring. And like Christmas, he wanted to make jewelry for other people and he couldn't afford any of it. So I sent him like an abundance things of all of these jewelry kits so he can make things together. And he was trying to save up money for something. And it was just when he was like, and he kept sending me messages and saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. He's so funny." And I was like, "I will connect the two of you again anytime you want." Like, because he really was just so devastated, and trying to figure out how to just cope with the news, and he was by himself. He was going through this by himself, like, he was just sitting there, and I was like, "Where is everybody?" "Oh, my mom had to go to work," which I understand, she has to work, and he has 2 siblings, and he just doesn't wanna be a burden, and then he just kept saying, "Okay, I don't wanna tell you you're right, but you were right, and he's hilarious, and he's funny, and I love the voice, and he made me laugh," and it was just so, like, heartwarming to me to see him go from one extreme to the other, and that is a talent and a gift, and I thank you for that, and you are changing lives, and I wanna help any way I can do that by getting you on Teen Talk all the time, by promoting you however I can, I will, because I strongly believe in my heart without a question that this is what you're meant to do.
Thank you. Yes, the big thing that I say that I'm going to reach out to schools that have aviation programs, for that because of that specialty that I have in that area, but not just aviation schools. I mean, just normal schools, colleges, wherever I can get into that.
Do the Tim Toolman Taylor thing. I think that would get a lot of
Yeah. Oh.
I love that. I need you to give me a little excerpt just for me of, Mickey Mouse because I didn't know you
Oh,
could
I
do
think
that.
that's what Logan. I think
Yes.
that's what won him over.
Yes, and he knows how much I love Mickey Mouse. I love it, and he can't do the voice, and I'm like, "You're so close, but you're not there." He draws them, but and then when you did it, I just, like, spun around like Beetlejuice. I'm like, "Wait, wait, what? What? He just" and I don't interact in those shows. I'm producing in the back, and, like, I was like, "He just did Mickey Mouse." And I'm texting him while he's talking to you on air, and I'm like, "He just did Mickey Mouse!" And he goes, "I know." And I was like, "But he did Mickey Mouse."
Hey, Victoria, it's me, Mickey. Oh, I just love the Contagious Smile podcast. It's Millie loves it too.
I don't like that rat. I don't like Minnie. I have a joke, but it's R-rated, and I can't tell it on here
Yeah,
about Minnie.
yeah. You're jealous of Minnie. That's what it is.
She's, you know what, goofy. I don't like
Ah,
Minnie. I like Mickey.
yeah, yeah. So
I wanna get you on Teen Talk. I wanna get you you wanna do support groups. We have support groups on A Contagious Smile where they talk to the teens and just they need to be heard, and that's what the problem is. They don't feel like they're heard. They're not heard at home, they're not heard at school, and they are heard here, and I want them to know that, and, they can call and talk to us and be there and just feel like they matter, and that's why
that'd be
you
great.
you're doing what you're doing, and so, I told you you're stuck with me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I have no objections.
Cool.
So we've been doing this for a while. How about we wind it down? Because I got some stuff I want to ask you. Off in the
Okay.
view of the public here.
Uh-oh.
So I
I
guess
think we scared enough people.
it came to my mind that what I'm going to call this is a special edition of the Miracles of Tragedy podcast. And what are you going to be using it for, Victoria?
I am promoting reading awareness and your daughter's amazing book.
Thank you so much for that. That means a lot.
Absolutely.
I'll have to tell my daughter about it. She it's going to mean so much to her.
You
It
know
will.
what? Tell her to
She'll need
do
it.
a couple of autograph books and we'll get them and we'll auction them and we'll donate the money in your granddaughter's name to suicide prevention awareness.
Oh. And with that, folks,
I didn't mean to make you cry again.
thank you so much
Thank you.
for being with us on this special episode of the Miracles